Let me pick one quote you've said about acting versus making music. I view acting much more as a job, a craft I can employ and oftentimes connect to, but far less personal and experience. So music is more the thing that stands closer to you?
It's much more an honest expression of myself. I'm less inhibited by my genetic makeup as a person who makes music, or as an artist of any kind, as either a filmmaker or a photographer or any of the other things that I might like to do. An actor, I'm inhibited by the way that I look. I'm inhibited by the way that I sound. I'm inhibited by a certain set of, you know, skills I have as an actor, and I'm sure that to a certain, you know, to a certain extent, well, to a large extent, beyond all of that, I'm inhibited by the fact that, you know, an actor's job is to not express himself. I mean, I'm sure everybody's in it to express themselves, but truly an actor's job is to express the vision of the filmmaker, you know?
Yeah, sometimes people say when I play a role, then I delve into myself and try to find...
Right. You try and make it honest, but yeah. I've tended to do the other way around, you know? I mean, it accounts for a certain amount of typecasting. I mean, I think that there's several things to account for why one gets typecast, but you know, I take some responsibility for the fact that very early on I wanted to deliver a message, and I would deliver it through other people's dialogue, but oftentimes I'd improvise a lot. I mean, 2 Days in Paris is a classic example of, I mean, it's a very long story actually, but you know, initially we were both writing that together, and you know, it's a long story, but that was a way for me to express myself as much as I could, because so much of that was improvised and the role was based on me and her, and so, you know what I mean, it was a very thinly veiled sort of film in that way. So that was like a kind of a fun way of you know, using quote unquote acting as a way of maybe saying a little something about yourself. But that's just such a small fraction of what I am, you know. And I mean, you know, the things that I've written and the things that I've, you know, and the music that I like to make, and the the films and I've made, you know, those are the things that, you know, for better or for worse, and in some people's, you know, opinion, for worse, are the things that best you know, represent, you know, who I am.
Is this for you the Goldberg Sisters? If you compare it to the LANDy album, this is more you, I think.
The Goldberg Sisters?
Yeah.
I would argue not. I would argue that the prior one was only the extent to which that, you know, it was never meant to be an album. So I would make recordings and then just because. So I mean, to be blunt, I would have an upset in a personal relationship. I would be mad or upset or sad, and I would write a song about that. And then I would go in my friend's studio, these guys, this band, the Black Pine, mainly in Los Angeles, and I'd say, hey, can we please record this song? And I would record a little, you know, record the song. So it was really very raw. I mean, yeah, there's lots of harmonics and stuff going on and effects and all that kind of stuff. But in a way, it's fully honest because there was no audience ever in mind. This is a little bit, I think, slightly more trepidatious because you know, I think it's important to consider that there is an audience, you know. When I go into it next time, I will probably take things from this record, take things from how I would approach the other thing, and actually maybe try and combine them a little bit more. I mean, this time was using a lot of what I've used to do, which is just pile on lots and lots of stuff and then kind of figure it out later. Next time, I think it would be nice to go in with, you know, with a band and sort of work out ideas in that way. I think that I would probably end up approaching every project differently, and I think that's probably why I would never have a band, and I would never have, and it seems silly to call something any one thing, because to me, it's all just a snapshot of that particular moment in time. And to also say, by the way, that I had some grand overarching plan about this record would be a total lie. I mean, I had 3 songs I had written in the year prior, if that. And he said, Aaron said, basically Aaron Espinosa, who I made this record with, had borrowed my Pro Tools because his crashed during a session, and then he ended up investing so much money into the Pro Tools session, into my Pro Tools rig that I didn't use anymore. It was something from when I tried to mix the LANDy record on my own. I used a much smaller thing now, so. And he had invested so much in it. He's like, listen, man, I either have to buy your Pro Tools now because it's mine. I mean, it's just it's become too much a part of my system, or you can have a record, and I have studio time in 3 weeks. So this record was. So I wrote furiously and scratch tracked all the songs, used a couple of old songs that I had never recorded, and we went in and recorded it.